Chapter 6, Understanding the Management Process. Here are your learning objectives. Here you go. Management, the process of coordinating people and other resources to achieve the goals of an organization. These resources must be coordinated by managers to produce goods and services. And again, those resources are material resources, human, financial, and informational resources. Here's a visual showing all four types of resources used in management. Here's a flow chart identifying the management process. Each function leads naturally to the next. Planning, organizing, leading and motivating, controlling, and then it goes back to the planning process. Planning is often referred to as the first function because all other functions depend on the planning. Top management is responsible for strategic planning. Although customers, products, competitors all factor in the process. Part of the planning process is developing a SWOT analysis. The identification and evaluation of a firm's strengths and weaknesses, those are internal factors, and opportunities and threats, those are external factors. And here's a visual of elements and examples of SWOT analysis. And SWOT analysis I have used in every single professional position I've ever had. So this is something that we will go over in this class, but we'll also go over it in all your other business courses, and you'll be actually using the SWOT analysis once you move into a professional position. Once goals and objectives have been set for the organization, managers must develop plans for achieving them. So the organization develops several types of plans. And here's a visual describing different types of plans. There's strategic, tactical, operational plans, and then of course Plan B, or the contingency plan. So with a strategic plan, that's usually what the board of directors or the top managers do. It's the broadest plan, it's the big picture. The tactical plans are usually 1 to 3 year plans, and they're smaller scale plans usually developed by managers. And then there's the operational plan, and this is the day-to-day plans on how to achieve the tactical and strategic plans. And then, like I said, contingency plan is also called Plan B. After goal setting and planning, the manager's next function is organizing. And then leading and motivating is the next function. And directing is actually the combined process of leading and motivating. And I want to point out with leading, and we'll talk about this again throughout the chapter, but whenever you see the word influence, that they're usually talking about leading. So whenever we talk about leadership, we're talking about influencing other people. So when that influencing is really a key word when talking about leading. And then there's controlling, and that's the process of evaluating, regulating ongoing activities to ensure that goals are achieved. And you controlling function includes these 3 steps: setting standards, measuring actual performance, and then taking corrective action. And here's a flow chart showing the 3 steps of the control function. And as you can see, they all move into each other. So once you're done with step 3, you're starting back up to step 1. Managers can be classified according to their level within an organization and area of management. This shows the management levels found in most companies. You've got top management, middle management, and then first line management. Moving on. And here are the areas of management specialization: finance, operations, marketing, human resources, and administration. Administration. So organizational structure can be divided into areas of management specialization, all the ones we just went over. There can also be more additional management positions depending on the organization. So there's key skills of successful managers. And here's a visual showing those key skills, and we'll talk more about those key skills. So conceptual skills. These allow managers to see the big picture. Analytical skills. These allow managers to problem solve, and that really is my cup of tea. That's what drives me, is problem solving. Then there's interpersonal skills, the ability to deal effectively with other people. And then, of course, there's technical skills, specific skills needed to accomplish a specialized activity. And then lastly, we have communication skills, the ability to speak, listen, and write effectively. Managers need both oral and written communication skills. So back to leadership is the ability to influence others. Leadership is different from management in that a leader strives for voluntary cooperation, whereas a manager may have to depend on coercion to change employee behavior. And I want you to read that a couple times to yourself and really soak that in. There are lots of leaders in this world that are in entry-level positions. There's lots of there are managers in this world that are not leaders. So leadership is about influencing, setting a good example, showing what you expect. And managers, a lot of times, they're just really believe in threatening and coercion and forcing people to do things. There's a big difference. So there are both formal leaders and informal leaders. And then there's different styles of leadership. Autocratic leadership is also known as micromanaging. Have you ever had a leader or a manager that told you what to do and then told you how to do it, when to do it, why to do, and had to watch you every step of the way and make sure you're doing it exactly the way that they want you to do it? That would be autocratic leadership. And that's not always the most effective way to lead. Then there's participative leadership, and they consult workers before making a decision. And then there's specifically different kinds of participative leadership. And then we have entrepreneurial leadership. And entrepreneurial leaders are extremely passionate. They're charismatic. A lot of times when I think of entrepreneurial leadership, I think of like motivational speakers or pastors or somebody along those lines. So which leadership style is the best? Most management experts agree that there's no best managerial leadership style that exists. The most effective style depends on the right balance between interaction among employees, characteristics of the work situation, and the manager's personality. Managers require a systematic approach to decision making. And here's a flow chart of the major steps in the managerial decision process. First, we need to identify the problem or the opportunity. Next, we need to generate alternatives. There's different ways you can do this. Brainstorming, blast then refine. And that's a Navy approach where you just grab the first idea that comes to you and then start doing that and just alter that until it fits what you need. Or there's trial and error. Just keep trying things and trying new things until something works. And then selecting alternatives. And then last, but definitely not least, implement and then evaluate the solution. So if the problem still exists, managers may decide to give the chosen alternative more time to work. This happens a lot. Or adopt a different alternative or start the problem identification process all over again. Managers should be aware that failure to evaluate decisions adequately may have negative consequences. Sometimes managers will be really, really stuck with the decision that they make. They don't want to change. They want to bury their heels in and not change, not admit that decision may be a failure. But really, whether we're talking about management and business or personal life, we're always learning from our failures. That's where we learn the most, is through our failures. So rather than refuse to admit or admit failure, a lot of times the best thing to do is to admit that failure and move forward from that and learn from that. Managing total quality. So management of quality is a high priority in many organizations today. And there are financial benefits of total quality management programs. Lower operating costs, higher return on sales on investment, and an improved ability to use premium pricing rather than competitive pricing. And there you go. Thank you.